Hey there, Sam here with another episode of the podcast. And in today's video, I wanted to talk to you about something that I've been meaning to do for quite some time. It is a new hobby that I'm picking up today. And it is a hobby that I have been wanting to pick up for a while now. And today is the day. So let's just go dive in, head on, and let's do this. This particular tool that I'm picking up today, it's something similar to what I have been using in my videos previously. And that is consumer drones. I have used consumer drones for quite some times now. I have owned about 3 DJI consumer drones similar to this one right here. This particular one is the DJI Mavic Air 2. And what is very intriguing about this particular hobby is the features that it has, the ability to create new and incredible content, which is what I'm most interested in, because I want to be able to bring in something new to my videos and what I do on my YouTube videos, as well as just having fun with this particular hobby. And again, it is within the drone family. And what I'm referring to today is the field or the hobby of FPV drones. FPV drones have been around for quite some time now. This is nothing new. However, the traditional drone industry, FPV drone industry, it's one that it's a bit complex, to say the least. And what I mean by complex is the fact that in order for you to really get into the FPV space, you have to learn a whole host of different things. You have to not only put together the actual drone, you also have to learn how to solder wires. You need to learn how to program, practically re-engineer this drone, FPV drone, from the ground up. And this is not a con by any means and anything negative about being able to do something like that, which I believe is very, very much something that a lot of people do on a regular basis and believe that is very, very fun. However, the technology have evolved just like everything else throughout the years. And today, in 2021, you can find pretty much already pre-built FPV drone without the need of you having to go through the hassle of having to put the entire FPV drone all by yourself. Now, what I'm looking forward to do again is with this new tool, this new FPV drone, is to be able to not only create new content, but also immerse myself into that new space and find ways for me to be more challenged, more creative, and also learn something new. And I absolutely love, obviously, tech, but overall, learning a new hobby is something that we should all strive for on a regular basis. And it doesn't have to be something like, flying drones or whatnot. But if you are into this creative space, such as, the YouTube space, as well as social media space, then it is likely that you would want to, sort of like spice things up. You want to be able to create a variety of content. You want to add and introduce new tools to your videos, to your content. And so that's where these FPV new hobby that I'm picking up come through or comes. It's the reason why I'm picking it up. I'm practically lost for words right now. coffee. Love it. Okay, so what I decided to do was I decided to do a little bit of research, and I found that a lot of people that are just new to the FPV field or the new FPV space, what they do is they go out and either find a already built FPV kit or something that is feasible and easy to put together. However, companies have again evolved and come along a long way into this FPV world. And what you can do nowadays is you can go ahead and purchase a complete set, a complete kit that you can just take it out and off you go. It is kind of like a plug and play setup. And instead of me just talking about this really quick, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and open up the kit that I chose to go with to start in this FPV journey. Now, let me preface this with the fact that I am no expert in the FPV drone space, and everything that you're going to be hear right now is from my own research and my personal opinions. Also, this video podcast, as well as the regular audio podcast, is not sponsored by the company that I purchased my starter FPV kit from or the DJI company. I want to just lay that out and be upfront with you guys. Okay, so let's get to it. This is the FPV kit that I decided to go with. This particular one is from a company called BETAFPV. And the reason why I picked this company is because based on my research, they have some of the easiest, I guess, type of kit that you can purchase today. And also, I noticed a couple other YouTubers that started with this particular company, this particular kit. And so, all right, let's just go over what comes with the kit. Obviously, the manual right here, the actual FPV drone. That's right. This little guy here is the beginner's kit FPV drone that I picked up from this company. Wow, it's quite small. Okay, let's continue here. This is the controller for the FPV drone kit. Now, for comparison, this is the DJI controller, drone controller, and this is the FPV controller. Drastically different, very different. I put this guy right here. Here is the goggle, and this is where the standard consumer drones differ from an FPV drone. For instance, with a standard consumer drone, you would pair or set your phone on the controller here. And from this standpoint, what you do is you'll be able to see what the drone is sending back to you, and you can see and maneuver your consumer drone through the phone and this controller. Okay, now, whereas the FPV drone, if you notice, it's just a straight up controller, right? And the biggest difference is that you have to wear these goggles, right? And inside this goggle, there is a screen that allows you then to immerse yourself and see what the drone is obviously seeing while you're flying it. And that's what's unique about this hobby. That's what's so interesting and why it fascinates me so much. Okay, so it comes with a set of headband, which is what you would use, obviously, to set up the goggles. Let's see what else we got here. It comes with a few additional accessories. And again, this is a kit that I purchased from this company. It cost around $130 US plus $15 shipping. This little USB thumb drive is actually the charger for the FPV drone, and these two 300 milliamp batteries that comes with this kit. They're super tiny, as you can see. And this is how you would charge them. You would just plug them in to this USB charger, and it has a LED screen up front telling you how much battery it is in the batteries before they get discharged. So let's see. They're stating that with this 2 little battery, you can get up to 5 minutes flight time. Again, another big difference from the regular consumer drones, and something that I would say it is one of the biggest limitations for FPV drones. It comes with this little prop removal tool, which eventually you will need if you crash this drone. However, I don't think that even if you crash it, because it comes with these little guards propellers, right? This little blue casing around the propellers. Even if you crash it, I don't think the damage will be that severe. So let's continue here and see what else we got. We also got a extra set of propellers, just in case, as I was alluding to recently. And it comes with 2 5.8 gigahertz antenna for the controller and the goggles. It comes with a standard USB to micro USB in order to charge your goggles. And that's about it. That's what comes in this starter kit from the company BETAFPV. Now, where this new industry was dramatically changed recently is that DJI, which have established itself as the dominant company in consumer drone for many years today, they enter the FPV space recently with an impressive and incredible FPV drone. This little mean machine, it's absolutely insane. And it is just packed with features. Had I known that DJI was gonna be releasing this FPV drone, I would have probably not purchased this one and just jump right into the DJI one. And here's why. The DJI new FPV drone comes, bundled with everything you need. DJI is really good about that. But what's really neat about it is the technology that's included in all the features. And here's some of that. Let's just talk briefly a little bit about the new DJI FPV drone. The new DJI FPV drone retails or starts at $1,299. That is the cost of the actual combo, the DJI FPV combo. And it comes with the drone, obviously, 1 intelligent flight battery, 2 sets of propellers, a gimbal cover to protect the camera, which is just this plastic cover here. It comes with a top shell. If you notice in this little guy, FPV drones are very, very different, and they fly different from a standard consumer drone. A standard consumer drone usually flies very straight like this. And an FPV drone, because of the way that it's designed, it flies sort of in an angle tilt forward like this. Okay. And so let me just touch really quick on another big difference between the FPV drone and the consumer drone is that a consumer drone, you have already built in a really, really good gimbal camera in them that allows you to record incredible footage and take amazing pictures. However, for the FPV drones in particular, you have to sort of mount an additional camera on top of the drone itself. And usually the type of camera that those FPV drones usually use right out there in this field is a GoPro or perhaps a Insta360 camera. And they would just mount it on top of this. And that's how they managed to create all this incredible footage. Another advantage and another really cool thing that I love about these FPV drone. Well, before I continue talking about that, let me just continue sharing with you what comes in the new DJI FPV Combo kit. So again, the drone, one intelligent battery, 2 sets of propellers, a gimbal cover to protect the camera, a top shell to personalize the FPV drone, a remote controller, plus a spare set of control sticks. I don't think it's unique to DJI, for instance, but they incorporated this same feature with the new FPV drone. And what's really neat about it is that these sticks, they get hidden underneath the remote, and when you need them, you just mount them again on top of the control like such. And you use it. When you're done, you unscrew it and you tucked it away, you put it away, and now it is easy for you to travel, much easier to travel with this controller because you don't have those sticks sticking up like that. And so DJI went ahead and introduced the same exact feature on the new FPV drone. So it comes with a controller plus a set of sticks, as I alluded earlier. New goggles, and the new goggles version 2.0 is absolutely incredible. A set of dual band goggles antenna for obviously to communicate with the drone. A goggle battery to power the goggles, a USB-C power cable for the goggles, goggles headband, goggles phone padding, an AC power adapter and power cable, a USB-C data cable usually for troubleshooting and diagnostics, and lastly a USB-C OTG cable for extra features. And again, what I love about this new DJI FPV drone is that I don't have to worry about having to get a camera mounted on top of the drone or anything like that to capture great footage. Because the DJI one comes, and this is part of their feature, it comes with an onboard 4K 60 frames per second camera. That is just incredible and a first for a FPV drone. It also records at 1080p in slow motion. It has a 150 super wide field of view, or FOV, meaning that you are so immersed when you're wearing your goggles, and it just the experience, which is what I are looking forward to, is probably absolutely out of this world. So 150 super wide FOV, rock steady EIS or electronic image stabilization to help smooth out the footage as you record. this little thing, this new DJI FPV drone flies at around 87 plus miles per hour. Can you imagine that? It is just incredible, and it's got to be so much fun. My goodness, I cannot wait. It also comes with a feature called OcuSync 3.0, and that technology is the one that sort of keep track of the drone once it is out there, once you're flying it, and the ability for the controller to have better communication with the drone. And DJI is alluding that you'll be able to fly this drone at a crazy distance of 6.2 miles. Imagine that. I mean, you'll be able to fly this little guy at a very long distance and create, an incredible experience for you. And if you choose to share your experience by creating content, I think it's going to be incredible. It also comes with obstacle sensing capabilities, similar to the standard consumer drones, which are this little circular eye looking thing up front, and it has some in the back as well and underneath. Although I don't know if the DJI FPV drone has them underneath as well. All I know is that it does come with some of this technology, and obviously a device that is this expensive, you definitely want to have some of those features and technology to prevent you from demolishing it and crashing it in your first or however tries you go through during your beginning period, which is imperative to have. It also have customizable LED lights, which is really cool. 3 flying mode, and this is where things get really, really cool. So DJI were able to produce this little FPV drone and create it in a way that meets pretty much 3 different levels of, let's say, pilots. You have a first mode, or the first beginner's mode, which is the N mode, and which is for beginners like myself. The second mode is the S mode, and this is where things get a bit more interesting. You are in this sort of hybrid space between the N mode, the beginner mode, and the most aggressive mode. So in this hybrid mode, you have more freedom. The drone, you start to feel like you are more getting into that FPV experience. Then there is the third mode, which is the M mode, which I call it the ludicrous mode, because here is where these drones shine. Here is where things get really, really incredible. And that is the mode that I'm hoping to be in. And then last but not least, DJI engineered this incredible app called DJI Virtual Flight App. And what it is that when you get into the FPV space, you have to spend at the beginning a bit of time sort of training in a virtual sort of environment. And DJI thought of engineering a app separate from the one that you use to fly your drone, where you can train with your actual hardware, meaning you'll be able to use the goggles and the controller that comes with this bundle from DJI and train in this virtual app and get very comfortable and familiar right away. And based on the videos and the reviews that I have seen, it looks like it's just incredible. It's really easy to go through. And the best part is that they're saying that you'll be able to go into the virtual app, spend some time there, and they say the experience is almost identical to that of flying the drone out there in the real world. And to me, that's just mind-blowing. So well done, DJI, well done. All right, so to wrap things up, again, I'm getting into this new hobby because for various reasons, but most importantly is because of the connection of my love for music as well as creating content. Also, I wanted to say thank you for listening to episode 1, where I talked about some of my thoughts around the podcast and what the podcast is going to be. And again, this podcast is going to be available on my YouTube channel, as well as all the podcast services out there. All right, guys, I really, really appreciate you. I thank you so much for being a part of this experience, this adventure of mine of podcasting. And I hope you continue the journey and that you are doing well, that you're staying safe. And I guess don't forget to connect with me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more. All right, guys, take it easy. Love you. Bye.